Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Justin Klein, and I'm a project manager in our technology department. And without further ado, I'm happy to introduce Adam Wainroth from Invoiced. He is going to be presenting Pain in the ARs, Take Billing and Collections from Agonizing to Awesome. Adam?
Thank you, Justin. Really glad to be here. Very glad to be working with Maynard on multiple opportunities and with clients and already having them experience success. Maynard's been a great organization to work with. And we think we're providing a really unique set of capabilities that can enhance that relationship between Maynard and his clients. So very eager to show you what it is that we do. We're here today to talk about accounts receivable. And as everyone listening probably knows, AR comes with many different kinds of pain. It's not just one variety of pain. One level of that pain is that you get paid too slowly. So it becomes really difficult to manage cash flows effectively. Another one is that you spend too much time on collections activities, so chasing down different customers and bugging them and reminding them and sending out invoices and things like that. Accepting payments is full of all kinds of difficulty. And then, of course, there's the pain of living with a customer payment experience that is antiquated. And you know, that's something that that you as a Maynard client or as a business do not like, and it's definitely something that your customers don't like. And so the net total of it is, you know, for most businesses, this woman banging her head on the desk is emblematic of how AR feels. However, there's a different way to go about it. And what we believe is that AR automation can make you feel like this joyful couple that's frolicking through the forest. And it's actually not that hard, and it's not that expensive. It's easier than you think. So just a little bit about Invoiced, because we're a vendor that's focused exclusively and comprehensively on AR automation. We are the top-rated AR cloud. We call ourselves an AR cloud because there's a whole set of interconnected capabilities that help to put billing and collection on autopilot for your business. We provide complete coverage of the full invoice to cash lifecycle. So everything that it takes to go from receivable to received, we handle and handle it automatically in most cases. We integrate with your ERP and accounting system as well as your CRM and other systems, many other systems, so that you can have one nice interconnected financial technology stack in your organization. And most importantly, we deliver results. So we typically provide very measurable and very big improvements to things like DSO, overall collections efficiency, and your team's productivity and ultimately happiness. And so for a lot of our clients, Invoiced is really what they see as sort of the crown jewel of their of an overarching financial technology transformation that they're going through. So this isn't every feature that we do, but I did want to provide just a few key buckets here of things that we cover. So anything relating to very advanced billing, so whether that's managing subscriptions or, you know, being able to add in late fees and early payment discounts, balance consolidation, things like that. Everything relating to collections, whether that's communications or reminders or actual payment acceptance. We also handle a lot of stuff on the cash application side, where updates can be made to the GL, syncing back and forth with the ERP, matching between different payments and where cash gets applied. And then what we call kind of our AR power tools. So this is things like forecasting when you're going to receive cash, very advanced roles and permissions. So really everything that you need to run AR efficiently and effectively is something that we provide. And these are the big areas that we tend to cover. We have a lot of really happy customers. These are a few examples. and we're operating at a pretty healthy level of scale. So we have customers in 92 countries, and right now we're processing about $2 billion in receivables on behalf of our clients each month. So really making a big dent in the AR universe. We're also broadly recognized as the best. So I mentioned that we're top rated. Here's some proof of that. So G2 Crowd, which is probably the most popular software review site that's out there, we're pegged to the top of the AR automation software category by a long way. We also have several other awards from them, like fastest implementation, most implementable, best support, things like that that are really important. And we've been broadly recognized in places like Forbes and CFO Dive and Accounting Today and other publications that you might read. What I would like to do is show an overview of Invoiced. So we're not going to get into every single little feature because it's such a broad and comprehensive platform that there wouldn't be enough time to show everything. But I at least want to give you a sense of some of the important use cases that we satisfy that tend to make life a lot easier for people who are in accounting or finance or AR or collections roles. So I'm now going to switch my screen to my browser. And let's see here. Here, we're looking at the Invoice Dashboard. So you log in, and basically what we do is we plug in with your ERP or your accounting system. Obviously, if you're connected with Maynard, then you're probably using Intact or you're using Dynamics, and you can plug Invoiced into both of those. We have a really very slick kind of push button integration with Intact in particular, but we do integrate with Dynamics as well. So this is your Invoice Dashboard. Because we're connected to that ERP, we're pulling in a lot of the invoice data and a lot of the customer data to kind of light this thing up, and then we take it from there. Everything's very action oriented, and so you'll see right up here in the top left, I've got my action items. The reason why is because we're kind of doing most of the stuff for you, but we want you to know when there's things that require your attention. And so one of the things that we do, and kind of the difference that you experience between what it's like before using Invoiced and then once you are using Invoiced, is that AR turns from a lean forward experience into what I would call a lean back experience. So basically what you can do is once you get everything configured, and we help you with configuration, once you get it all set up, you can just kind of walk away and start doing the other stuff that you would rather be doing and that, quite frankly, might have a bigger impact on the business. It might be a better use of your own time or your team's time. And then we let you know if there's something that needs your attention. So we'll kind of tap you on the shoulder and let you know if you need to follow up with someone because they've gone too far overdue or because you've set an automatic escalation trigger previously that got tripped. So you can kind of set it and forget it, walk away, and trust that we're doing all of the work on the back end. But we let you know if there is something that needs your attention. So I've got things like tasks that I need to do and specific invoices that might need attention, or if someone said they were going to pay and then the check didn't come, I need to follow up with those. So we tell you when you need to get back in. We also give you some great facts and stats about what's happening. So things like how long it's taking for people to pay on average, what my collection efficiency is, my DSO, AR balances, how many open invoices I have, and importantly, how much in payments I should be expecting. I've also got a little mini AR aging report down here. You can customize these date ranges. You can also dive into a specific date range and see the invoices that make that up. And then any one of these invoices, you can go and you can edit it, you can copy it, you can download it, send it, receive a payment, or delete the invoice. Or you can dive into the invoice itself and see everything that's going on with it. So just to go back here a second, go back to the dashboard. And you can also see I've got my top debtors. So this is great because it's like a leaderboard of who owes you the most money. And, you know, if you have a spare 10 minutes in the day, it's a good place to go and check because that's someone who you might want to follow up with. We've also got a nice little AR heartbeat chart right here, which shows you what's been billed out, what's been paid, what's been billed out, what's been paid, etc. Over different periods of time. You can change the frequencies and the date ranges on this as well. Then we've got recent activity here. This is just a quick look at the latest things that are happening in the system, but we track everything at a very granular level. That could be anything from a new invoice was created for someone, or someone opened an email notification about an invoice, or the system did something automatically. We track everything that users are doing internally, that your team is doing. We track what the system is doing automatically, and we track what customers are doing at different billing and payment touch points. So there's a lot to show, but I want to quickly go to my settings here. There's tons of settings, tons of configuration options. You don't have to be a programmer or anything like that. There's no back-end wiring that you have to take care of. This is meant to be very point and click kind of experience, and that's why we're rated #1 in terms of ease of use also on the software rating sites that I mentioned. But I want to show you one particular area, which is our smart chasing engine. So this is something that people really love about Invoiced because it's so powerful and it solves such a big problem. Basically, this is a set of capabilities for automated dunning. So all of the communication and reminders that need to happen around invoices and outstanding balances, you can set that up to where it is just set it and forget it. We organize that kind of activity into what we call cadences. And for us, what a cadence is it's a series of pre-programmed and automated communication and action assignment steps that happen based on triggers for account age and past due age. And so I'm going to go into one of these example ones. You can have one cadence for all of your customers if you want. You can treat everyone the same way. Or in this case, I've got many different cadences here because I might want to treat different groups of customers differently. So for example, I may have VIP high dollar customers that I want to handle very delicately. And so maybe that's mostly phone calls as opposed to a lot of high frequency emails. Or I may have more rank and file folks who I'm completely fine with being more aggressive with. But let's go into one of these. So I'm going to open this distributor's cadence, and I'm going to choose edit cadence. This one's already built. So I can change the name to whatever I want. I'm having it run at 7 a.m. every day, and I'm not bothering anyone if they owe me less than $100. So I'm going to click next, and I can see that it's assigned to 25 customers. And then I've got my cadence steps that happen right here. Now you'll see that there's different triggers for when they happen. So some of these are happening at account age, some are happening at past due age. In this case, step #1 is I've got a paper bill going out. So we do actually have a print and mail integration. So you can have letters fire off automatically with balances and invoices and never have to touch an envelope. All happens automatically. We also do email, that's kind of table stakes. And we also have a text capability. So if you've got, let's say, if you're a B2C business and you've got your customers' mobile phone numbers and permission to text them about billing related matters, you can plug that into. So this is totally omni-channel, email, paper letter, text, we've got all of it covered. In this case, I've got a paper bill that's going out when the account age is 0, then I've got an email that's going out when the account is 5 days past due, and another one when it's 10 days, another one when it's 20 days, and then I start texting. Then we've got a phone call. So this is just assigning a phone call action item to someone. I'm assigning it to myself in this case, or I can assign it to the account owner. And that way you can assign it to sort of a role. And then you can have escalation steps as well. So I pick escalate right here, and I can assign it to an individual or a role again. And we can create as many or as few of these steps as we want. In this particular one, I've got 8 steps, but you can have 80 steps in a cadence if you want. And then if I've created cadences for different groups of customers, I can actually have customers get automatically assigned to their proper cadence by setting up rules and conditions. So we've tried to make this as hands-free as possible. Once you set up these cadences, you can just kind of fire and forget, and the system will let you know if there's something that's needed. Now, as people are moving through these past due and account age triggers, if they pay, then they come out of the cadence. And I want to show you what that payment experience looks like from your end customer's standpoint. So we're going to jump into our invoices right here and take a look at an example. So I'm going to find a past due invoice. And let's see here. So I've got, let's go to this big one. So there's an outstanding, it's for $206,000, and it's past due since March 29th. So it's just a wee bit overdue. Now we can see that this customer is in a chasing cadence, and I can go to those details right here. If I want, I can reset where they are. So I've got the cadence steps right here. I can keep them in the same cadence and put them in a different step. So I'm going to put them in this reminder step, and then here we are. These failure notices right here, that's just because I didn't have valid contact information in here for this test data. But ordinarily it shouldn't say that, but if it does, it might be something you need to look into. So let's go back to our invoice. And even though this customer's in a cadence, I'm going to go ahead and just send a one-off reminder, just so you can see what the experience is like. Again, I can send through email, letter, or text. I'm going to go ahead and send an email. And I'm going to send this just to myself. And you can see that I've got a pre-populated note here, and it has these nice little merge variables in here. So I can personalize it with, the customer name, the invoice number, the balance that we're telling them about. So I'm going to go ahead and send that. The reminder was just sent. I'm going to open up my inbox, and you'll see that there is a notice waiting for me. So here we go. We've got a past due notice. Hi, customer. We're contacting you about this invoice. It has a past due balance of $206,000, blah, blah, blah. And then we've got the invoice attached with all the details in it. See, there's a pretty chunky late fee on there as well. The invoice logo, this is just how we have this particular account set up, but for your account, the logo wouldn't necessarily be there. And then I'm going to click Pay Now. And what that does is it takes me right into our payment portal. So this would be branded with your business. In this case, it's Dunder Mifflin, but this would be your brand, your colors, and then the customer's invoice. Now, one thing you'll notice, and this is another area where we make it really easy, not just for you, but for your customers, you'll notice I didn't have to go and create an account. You'll notice that I didn't have to log in or anything like that. So this is a passwordless authentication methodology that we use. It's totally secure, but it makes it so that when they get that email, it has a unique link that's just for them, just for that email, that automatically logs them in. So they don't have to go hunt down that, umpteen thousandth username and password. They can also, once they get to this page, they can ask questions or dispute things. What's nice is not having people dispute things, but having all that conversation and back and forth tied back to the invoice. So I've already, when I tested this out before, I already left a note, and we can see what that looks like in here. So in my comments, I can see what was this service fee for. I can reply with a comment. If my customer posts a comment, it'll send me an email notifying me that there is a comment. If I want, I can just reply to that email right in my inbox and not even go to Invoiced, and it'll pull the response into the comment thread here automatically. If I want to, I can attach files as well. It just makes it really easy to keep all that conversation back and forth tied to the invoice, keep everything nice and accountable and organized. And so what we really want people to do is pay the invoice. So I'm going to click that button. And we encourage people to pay a full balance if it's more than the invoice amount, or they can select individual invoices to pay, or they can just pay the invoice that they came in through. I'm going to do that in this case. And I can pay by credit card, I can pay by ACH, by check, by wire transfer. We're totally multi-currency as well. You can use your existing payment provider. So if you're using someone like Stripe or Braintree or Authorize.net, there's about 15 or so that we support. We also recently announced our own called Invoiced Payments, which is our own payment solution. Totally competitive rates, pretty much what you're used to seeing from other guys. But there's an added benefit. It's a partnership with Chase. And as a result, if you have a Chase business banking account that you're using for the payment deposits, you can get same-day deposits. And so that would be a really good reason to use our invoice payment solution that's powered by Chase. And, there's also very fast onboarding, actually faster than some of the other guys. So something you might want to look at, but if you already have your own that you're very happy with, you can bring that one and set it up too. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and enter credit card information to get this nasty invoice finally paid off. So let's enter some details here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to enroll in auto pay, but I could if I wanted to. You have the option of making auto pay available for your customers. Oops. Okay. That looks like something that I need to handle differently. So what I'm going to do instead, I've got my credit card information set up wrong here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I'm going to pay by check. And I'm going to say that I already sent the payment and the check's in the mail and you're going to get it by the end of the week, by Friday the 20th. And so I'm going to submit that. And then that promise to pay has been made. So if we go back to our invoice here, I'm going to refresh this. And while the invoice wasn't paid, we can see that there's an expected payment date of December 20th by check. And so that lets us know when we should be on the lookout for that check. Now, let's say I get that check early. Let's say I get it today and I want to mark it as paid. I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to receive a payment and I'm going to say that I got a check. And it's for the full amount, and it was check 1234. Create the payment, and now it's paid in full, and this was simultaneously marked as paid in either Intact or Dynamics or whatever other ERP or accounting system is being used. So really nice to have all that integrated, and now we've got this this chunky invoice that was paid off. So those are kind of some of the main things. Now, what's nice is because we're seeing all the bills and because we're seeing when they're due and because we're seeing how much they're for, we know who's made a promise to pay, the check's in the mail, we know who's on auto pay, we know who's on payment plans, and we know the due dates. We're in the best position to accurately predict when cash will be received. And so if you ever wanted that crystal ball, or if you're spending days per month creating a version of that crystal ball, you don't have to do that anymore because this gives you a real-time cash flow forecast. And so that helps you know what's going to happen in the future. And these are all really important use cases. Now, the other things that I'll point out about Invoiced with the remaining time that we have is that we've got a built-in subscription billing capability. So as you're probably aware, a lot of businesses are moving towards more recurring revenue models because it's that recurring revenue model that becomes really attractive to investors and helps to build really sustainable businesses. There's clearly a big multi-year trend towards that. So we can handle subscription billing, whether you're a service company, whether you're a software, SaaS kind of company. We handle subscription billing, and that all gets done by us. And what's nice is that you don't have to go and get a separate pure play subscription billing platform to make work as yet another platform. You have subscription billing built right in. Just a few other things I wanted to show off here. So excuse me, I mentioned how easy it was to set up your payment methods. And so here, what I can do if I want, I'm using invoice payments for this one, but if I want let's say I have Stripe and I want to use that. I just log in with my Stripe account and then I'm good to go. So that's how easy we make all of this. Go back to our payment screen right here. There's other things that you could do too. Like, let's say you don't want to deal with those credit card fees. Well, maybe you want to provide a maximum allowed payment. So you can say anything up to $2,000, I'll accept credit card for. And that's the only time when your end user is going to see that option when they're on the payment portal to pay for an invoice. A couple other things I'll just take you through right here. So if I go to my general settings, you'll see I can change anything I need to, things like what I want my numbering scheme to be, what I want my default payment terms to be, do I want to offer auto pay or not, what do I want the auto pay retry schedule to be exactly, what do I want my aging times to be, what late fees do I want to have, what do I want the grace period to be, do I want it to be fixed fee or percentage, and if it's a percentage, then do I want that recurring, and if so, then how often? So everything you need to make this work for your specific business, you can do. And again, all this is in service of making it so that you can walk away from AR, focus on other things, and we'll let you know when your attention is needed. And with that, I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. We can certainly come back to the app in just a second. But I'm going to switch my screen here, back on the PowerPoint. And I just wanted to, a question that we get after we show all this as well, how much is all that? Well, we have a bunch of different plans. So we have a basic plan, which is $100 a month. That's going to get you most of what I showed you. And there are some limits, so you can only bill out so many customers per month without incurring additional fees. We also have an advanced plan, which is pretty popular with Intacct users. You need the advanced plan in order to integrate with Intacct and to use our Intacct integration. But this lets you bill out up to 500 customers. Then you can have 10 internal users using the system. And then we have our enterprise solution, which is normally going to start at around $18,000 a year. And that gets you all kinds of bells and whistles. There's other things too. So like for the credit card processing and ACH data, that's covered under our invoice payment solution. Very competitive rates there. The print and mail, if we're sending off letters and postage and things like that on your behalf, obviously there's a cost for that, but it's only a little bit more than postage most of the time. And then we also can help you create custom invoice templates. So if you want to have the most spectacular looking invoice in the world, you can definitely do that. You just give us what you want it to look like and we make it true in the system. It's really very easy for us. And that's pretty much it. That is the overview of Invoiced and just how easy and painless AR can be.
Okay, Adam. So I just want to say thank you to all the attendees and also say thank you to you, Adam, for your presentation today.
Absolutely. Very happy to do it. And before we exit out completely, I did just want to have one little thing right here just to show my contact information in case you'd like to grab that. Feel free to reach out directly after this. You can always find me at adam@invoiced.com. And this is my direct line right here, 512-496-1566. Really appreciate everyone's time. Hope you learn a little bit about how easy AR automation can be. And if there are any questions, happy to get those answered offline. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Happy holidays. Look forward to the next webinar.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Bye-bye.